Welcome back to another video. It's your girl Ombre Alert. You already know what it is. In this video, we're going to be talking about Ted Bundy's next relationship. Now, this relationship, child, get your popcorn because it's insane, okay? The relationship that I'm talking about is his relationship with Carol Ann Boone. Her name just sounds like she's crazy. You guys are ready? Let's get right into the video. Make sure that you like, comment down below, and you subscribe to this channel. We're going to be doing big things, as I say in every video, because it's true. I'm about to have my baby soon. I'm going to say that in every video too, because this is crazy. This is life-changing. Growth is happening. Just greatness is happening, okay? So if you guys want to come along on the journey with me, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and to my vlog channel, Ombre. Okay, I will link it down in the description so that you guys can just follow, because I think in the last video I forgot to link it, so I'll link it in this video. Ted Bundy not only was playing stepdaddy to Elizabeth Kendall, but he also was in a marriage. So as you guys remember from the last video, if you don't remember, make sure you go watch that video. Ted Bundy was in a 6-year relationship with a woman that had a child from a previous marriage, and they got engaged, but they didn't get married. And the relationship caused dramatic effects on her and her life, probably till this day, actually. But with Carol Ann Boone, she was a different person. Like, she was totally different. If you guys did watch the movie with Zac Efron, the extremely wicked, shockingly vile and evil movie, they put it on Netflix. It's on there right now if you guys want to go watch it. They definitely had her, Carol Ann Boone's character, to a T, I feel. The only difference is, I think in real life she looked a lot older than she looked. She really was down for Ted. She loved Ted. She supported Ted. She was like a ride or die. She was his ride or die. She didn't care what she heard in that courtroom. She was going to support that man like forever. Okay, so we're gonna get into the facts right now. Ted and Carol, they met in 1974. They worked for the Department of Emergency Services in Olympia, Washington. So they met there, and I think she said that she thought that he was shy, and he didn't really talk to a lot of people there, but he talked to her, and they kind of hit it off, similar to him and Liz. They kind of like hit it off when they first met, and they became friends. So as we all know, the Ted Bundy like lineup is that he started to murder women in 1974. So I think his job at the Department of Emergency Services was just kind of like to cover up things that he was doing on the back end. So the thing about Ted is that he always wanted to make it seem like he wasn't doing what he was doing. It's almost like he acted as if he blacked out when he killed people, and then he just assumed a regular life after that. I doubt that highly. I think that he was fully aware of what he was doing. I think that he just thought if he had a particular image that people wouldn't think that he was an actual killer, even though he actually was. So the murders happened in 1974. So he was killing women around the time that he was in a relationship with Liz and he met Carol. So that's the timeline with that. So around the time that they met, he was committing murders, and he was like moving around, and I guess at work they were getting more close and close. Then he got arrested in 1975. He got pulled over in Utah, and they found pantyhose, a crowbar, a ski mask, and they found handcuffs and an ice pick in his car. And it wasn't even like in the trunk, it was like in the back seat. Them searching his car, they didn't really have to search. They just looked in the back seat and they saw it. So with that search, they were able to have probable cause to arrest him. So after he got arrested, they eventually looked up his history and started to look into some of the murders in the area and matched a lot of the murder weapons that he had in the car to the actual murders. So he ended up getting sentenced to 15 years in prison. So within 2 years of that 15-year sentence, he got moved to Colorado, and him and Carol began like a romantic letter, type of relationship. He was still with Liz at the time, need I mind you. But like I said, Ted always wanted to have a backup plan. So Carol was his backup plan. If he felt like Liz was going to drop out of the race and wasn't going to support him, he had Carol. Carol was down. She didn't care. He could have told her, I just slit this girl throat, and Carol would have been there, okay? Backstory on Carol, too, is that she was against the death penalty. She was very, like, it was a lot of protests and stuff going on. It was the 70s around that time. So she was very involved in, like, protesting and being in activism. So she was against the death penalty, and she felt like I think she felt like she needed to have a savior complex because I think her little brother died on her watch. She was supposed to be watching him, and I think he drowned in a pool or something like that. I'll have to like double check. She felt like she needed to support him to kind of redeem her sins, and she felt guilty about her brother's death. So I feel like she just always wanted to be helpful and save somebody. So I think that that's kind of like the background of her being so down for Ted. While he was in Colorado, he was coming up with a plan to escape. And Carol actually was sending him money. She was sending him coins. She was sending those funds through that prison. And with the money that she sent, he was able to come up with an elaborate escape, and he escaped jail. He escaped once before, and then he escaped again within the 15-year sentence. He didn't serve the whole time, of course, at that time, but within the first like 5 or 6 years, he had escaped a few times. But this time, he had escaped and then he fled to Florida. And they had no idea he was all the way in Florida until the murder started happening. So that's when he messed up when he did this, because these were the murders that really stuck. Like, Florida was actually able to really get him and keep him and make sure he didn't go anywhere. Florida don't play. First of all, you commit any type of murder in Florida, you're going down. Okay, you're going down. And Carol, she definitely followed him there. And during that time, that's when he committed the Chi Omega murders in the sorority house. And he committed the kidnapping and the murder of Kimberly Leach. And she was a 12-year-old girl. So one thing you don't do is murder is murder. It's all wrong and heinous and evil. But when you kill kids, specifically, it just takes it to another level. You kill, you rape, whatever, children, you're going down. So he really fucked up with that one. He really fucked up. Not only did the murder sprees in the sorority house, it just created so much like frenzy, like women everywhere around there were scared. But he killing kids too and raping kids. Like, come on. So once he got convicted of those, of course he was apprehended. It didn't last long. His escape to Florida didn't last long. He actually had to be extradited to Florida after that. And Carol, as soon as she found out he was going to be in Florida, she picked up her whole life and moved there. Like, she did not play no games. She moved to Florida and she was there almost every day in court during the trial. She heard what they were saying about him killing the little girl and raping the little girl. She didn't budge. You know what I'm saying? She actually came to visit him in jail and moved closer to the jail so that she could be there for his visits. Like, she was not playing. And around that time, like I said, him and Liz were together till 1980. So they were still in a relationship. And Ted, he really loved Liz. Like, Carol was just a side piece, like, in my opinion. Carol was not the main chick. She was not the the one that he really wanted to be with. He just was taking advantage of the fact that she was so available and she made herself so available to him. She she definitely gave up a lot of her life to him, willing to relocate, redo, rewind. You feel me? Like she was down for him. So, and she really believed more than that. She really believed that he was innocent. So she actually offered to him, like in the movie, she suggested, hey, like I can get your point of view out there. Like I can make sure people know what your thoughts are and how you feel and your innocence. I can be the one that's going to make the story clear. So she made herself his spokesperson to the press, and he wanted to get the press because he wanted the attention. A lot of characteristics with serial killers is that they like attention, and they feel like in their real life they're nobody, they're nothing. But once they become a murderer, they're famous. All of a sudden everybody knows their name, everybody knows what they did. Some people celebrate it, you know what I'm saying? So not everybody during this trial felt like Ted was guilty. A lot of people thought he was innocent. A lot of the women would come to the court acting a damn fool, looking horny, disrupting the situation. He definitely was making himself a spectacle by representing himself because he wasn't an actual lawyer. He did go to school for it, but he didn't finish, you know what I'm saying? So he just was making it kind of like a mockery. And in that mockery, he actually proposed to Carol, and they actually were married. In Florida, there's a law that if there's a judge there and you propose, that you're legally married. So he took that and he ran with it, and he made sure that they were married. So legally, they became a married couple. I want to say that him and Liz were done at that point, but I think he just realized after trying to reach out to Liz and stuff like that, I think he just realized that she was not going for that shit. Like she was over it. Like she already felt like she was hiding things that he had told her. She had already felt guilty about, all the women that had got murdered. Was with him in a relationship when he was murdering people. Like she felt real remorse and real guilt about that. But Carol, she didn't give a damn. Carol is a different breed. She did not care. She was a single mother as well, and she had just ended her second marriage when they got together. Well, when they met in the first place. But around this time, she was just down for Ted. She was down to do whatever he was going to ask her to do, and that was going to be the end of it. She believed that he was innocent. She believed he was innocent. She had no reason in her mind to think anything otherwise, no matter what the prosecutor said, no matter how many pictures they shown, and no matter how much the evidence matched. But when them teeth came out, that sealed the deal. That is what got him. When they matched the teeth marks to the body of one of the women that he murdered in the Chi Omega sorority house, and it was an identical match. His teeth is like vampire, but not like, like Halloween costume. It's just like real fucked up. Like I don't even know how to say it. It's just like real bad. Like it's just real bad. Like he really needed some braces as a kid, and he just never got those braces as a kid. Anyway, his teeth were very unique, and they were an identical match. And once, even after that evidence, Carol still believed in him, supported him, whatever the case may be. At the conclusion of the trial, he was going through a situation where he had to either take a plea deal or not take a plea deal. And he decided not to. And he ended up getting the death penalty. And I think he was surprised because he thought that he really did a good job representing himself. And I think he really convinced himself that he didn't do anything wrong. So he was already convicted of life in prison. And then he had the death penalty on top of that. So he was on death row for 9 years. And before the 9 years, when Carol and him would do visits, they Like I said, she moved closer to the jail. So once they did the visit, she was able to have sex with him. And a guard would look the other way. I think she said it was a black man that was a nice guard. He would just look the other way. After that, when he was on death row, they would have more sex. And she would smuggle drugs into the prison and they would have more sex. And then she ended up getting pregnant and having their daughter Rose. So they have plenty of pictures together as a family in the jail. Creepy, even with her I want to say adult or teenage son, because she had a son during that time with from her one of her previous marriages. I think she had multiple kids though, but she had a son. That's the only one I saw. Um, they will all come to the jail to see Ted. So there's plenty of like pictures of them together. There's pictures of him with his daughter. And, they were just, trying to be this, you know, loving family, regardless of the circumstances, until he wanted to get a stay of execution. And that's basically a delay of his execution date. He wanted to delay it 3 or 4 years, and they were not having that. They were like, no, the date is set. So they had some lawyers come in to talk to him that were against the death penalty, and he agreed at first to tell them things about some of the murders. And then I think when he actually went down to talk about it, he changed it. He tried to like act like he was innocent. And the lawyer name is Stephen McLeod. He was like, "Look, this is not what I'm here for. You're supposed to be giving me information, and if you can't do that, then it's nothing that we can do." So he started talking in like third person, like as if he wasn't himself, and he started to spill the tea about some of the murders that he committed. But he talked as if he was looking in as a witness, which is annoying because that's not what we needed from you. We needed you to just keep it real. During the time of the death row, they were still married, but 3 years before his actual execution, they did get a divorce. And it was essentially because they had a phone call conversation, and he actually asked her, "Do you think I should tell them where the bodies are?" And she was like, I think she was taken back by that. I think she just assumed he never told her basically that he committed any of the murders. So she thought that he was innocent the entire time. And I think when he said that, she felt like a fool. Before that happened, she told him, like, he was very demanding, I think, of her. He would ask her to do certain things. And he would ask her to, he just demanded a lot from her and expected a lot from her, and a lot more than she was willing to do. And she, in my opinion, she did a lot already. But he felt like he had her, I guess, where he wanted her. So she would do whatever. She proved it that she would do whatever that he asked. So she told him that in a letter that she was feeling depressed. And I think that a lot of that led up to her filing for divorce. What sealed the deal was him telling her that, like, should I tell you where the bodies are? Should I tell them? Like, if you're innocent, he would have never said that. So I think after that, it was a wrap. She realized she wasted a lot of time, and it definitely screwed her loose of his chokehold. And I want to say, in conclusion to that, he was executed, and she, had her daughter with her, and their marriage was over after that. And as far as I know, she passed away in 2017 of, I think she had cancer. So she's actually passed away now. But I think that after that, she had a lot of regret of like, what did I do? Like, who was I supporting this whole time? So, yeah. That's kind of essentially the story of Ted and Carol. She was a ride or die no matter what. I mean, on that trial, she was in the press, in the news, speaking up for him. She was willing to do whatever it took to be there for him, to be his wife. And she was way too down. He did not love her for real. He loved Liz and wanted to be with Liz. And even in a scene in the movie, like he didn't even look at her when they had sex behind that soda machine. He didn't even look at her in the face. I was like, oh my God. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. It's Ombre Alert. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.